everyone, and thank you for tuning in today. I am very excited to have someone that I have admired from afar, but then saw and got to meet and found out that she's quite closer connected to me than I thought. From the wonderful works of my father, she's became a light and literally like my aunt from afar. She is a warrior, not only here, but in our native land, Haiti. And I can only explain her as her name is called, Èzili Dantò, one of the greatest Loas that we have. I introduce her to you and our audience now, and I will let her in. Ma tante moi, comment vas-tu? No, and that stops. I'm not that good at that. But anyway, that being said, thank you and welcome to the collaborative. I just wanted to show that we are a part of the Free Haiti movement. The collaborative is definitely a part, and showcases her shirts as well. So Èzili, welcome. And I would like to start because this is your time. This what we're in right now. You have been working on for 16 years or so now. And I only know that because my daughter was born in the year you started it. But explain to me the young Èzili and how did she become the warrior queen that she is right now? She has fought, she has struggled, and she has been valiant and victorious. But how did she become what she is today?
Honor and respect. And to all your listeners. So my name is Èzili Dantò, and I run the Free Haiti movement, which I started in 2004 because of the bicentennial coup d'etat against the democratically elected president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide. But I go back about 10 years before that, in 1994, where I started the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network. So it's been a lifetime of work, 27 years with the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network and 17 years with the Free Haiti movement. We run the Esley Network, the website. I write. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I have 10 plays and 2 book series. I do teach-ins on Haitian culture 6 times a year. And we have a Free Haiti movement page. Most of my work on that page, it's a platform for all Haitians and all human beings who are interested in a non-imperialistic world where we can share our culture, we can share our beauty. But mostly I'm known for putting out the non-colonial narrative on Haiti. And that the way that came about was that what I am wasn't what I saw being written about with regards to being Haitian. So then we had to issue out into the world and tell people, this is what I am. I don't know what you're putting out there. Right. That Haitians are violent and incompetent and unable to rule themselves. Right. That is not something that represents what I am and a lot of the members of my family and a lot of Haitians that I know. So as you know, I was raised in Connecticut, and I knew Diana's father. Yeah. And those are the type of Haitians that I know, like a community worker who took care of others who might need someone to translate for them, someone to speak up for them. That's the Haitian I knew, and that's the Haitian I was raised with. But when I was very young, I'm an artist. You guys can see my work as an artist anywhere. I'm an author and I'm a lawyer. I was doing entertainment law before I went to Haiti, representing some major Grammy Award winning hip hop artists and living the life, honestly. But then when they took out Aristide, like my mother and folks like that, just kept talking about how the United States did this. And for me, I was young. I was like, well, that doesn't sound fair. How could
Right.
the people vote for someone and the United States just decides to take them out? You know, being
Right.
the lawyer, I looked into it and I ended up representing Aristide, and he ended up going back to Haiti, and I went back to Haiti for the first time. What
Mm-hmm.
I saw there is why I'm here today.
Mm. That's beautiful. Now, in speaking with what you saw there, do you feel like you were always IT's culture was always ingrained in you growing up?
Um, not, I didn't really know. I just remember one time I was dancing,
Mm.
and my father came. It was a recital, and I was dancing ballet and jazz, and you know, I went to school, and I that's what I did from little. I
Right.
was a dancer, so I took the regular courses, tap, ballet, and jazz,
Yes.
and we used to have these recitals.
Yes.
My father is Neg Guinet, right? He had
Hmm.
his Vodun music, he had his Racine music, he had all this stuff, right?
Yes.
And he has nothing to do with, my mom is Catholic and apostolic, right?
Right. Right. Right.
He used to drive us to St. John's Church and then stay outside and drink his you know, it's just, and we used to go in, right? And I used to want to go sit with my father outside because I didn't like the idea of standing up and sitting down.
Sitting down and
And
standing up
I
and
was like,
sitting
what
down.
is this? Right? I wanted to go and sit outside with my dad. And
Mm.
so he came to my recital, and uh, I had a solo. I was so proud because I started later than some of the white girls in my dancing school. And
Right.
but you have to be really good for them to give you a recital. So I was really proud, and I was happy for my father to be there. And then after the dance, the whole thing was over. He said, "You know, we have a culture."
Yes, Dad. But I.
He said, "Call me when you're dancing the Yambalu and the Igbo."
Right. Oh, I love that about your dad. Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like my dad
Oh,
kind of had
I
that
was like,
pulled
"Oh,
away
what's the
from me.
Yambalu and what's the Igbo? What's the Congo?
Yeah.
You know, what's the Juba?"
Right.
And that's how I became a master Haitian dancer.
That's beautiful. And your work, I don't want to oversee that too. Your artistry and writing and dancing and all the way, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, especially I relate
We have a
connected, like I
Bookman
like
culture.
it, we do. And the
You
way you
know, so that's how
express
I
it.
entered into Vodun, actually, was
Yeah.
learning the dances. And
Mm.
I went to New York to learn from like these older Père Rameau, it was his name, is
Mm.
older Haitian men who were in exile in the United States, but they were fabulous dancers back in the day, in when in the heyday, and they had these dancing troops. So he was my private teacher, and I kept taking private lessons, even though I was on the second company of Alvin Ailey. I was taking private lessons to learn because I wanted my dad to be proud. I wanted
Right.
to do it.
Right.
And
Right.
he got to see me do the Yanvalu. Yanvalu.
Oh, I know he was excited. He was excited. And I love that because too, again, it's going to go into our conversation about how our spirituality and our culture and our warrior selves are so ingrained, right? And you just
Exactly.
said the dance brought you back to your spirituality.
That's
So
right.
can you,
That's how I entered into Èzili Dantò in Vodun. You know, that's how I
yeah,
entered into it. Was through my move. I was naturally an athlete.
yes, yes,
I expressed myself in movement.
yes,
So I learned the difference between jazz, like or let's say modern dance,
yes.
were movement that had nothing to do with nature. They were just like
Mm,
beautiful choreographed movement,
right,
right?
right.
But every Haitian dance is aligned to an energy and vibration in the universe.
Wow.
So, for
Yeah.
instance, the Yanvalu, it's aligned to the vibration of the creation,
Yes.
and it's the movement of your DNA.
Mm.
Use this hand. It's the
Yeah, so
movement
you
of
could see
your
it,
DNA,
right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the movement of Dambala. Dambala we do.
Wow.
It's the movement of Aida, which is this the sky goddess.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
Mm.
and Kemet,
Right.
it's Newt.
Right.
So I entered my spirituality through the movement, and because I was already uh, doing ballet and tap and I was choreographing them, but there was no story for those movements.
Right.
But
Right.
when you do, let me see if I can, if you can see me. When you do the Yanvalu, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the DNA. This is a movement of the past, present, and future. Le marasa, le mort is le mystère. This is
Right.
the cosmic astrological movement of the planets. You see, because that and that tells you your whole story.
Do you know you could even feel it in doing it?
Yeah, it is.
You could
But
even feel
but
it in doing it.
I made it a snake because they don't understand.
Gotcha.
So then
I understand.
when I learned and I went to different Haitians who taught me, then I
Yes.
went, and because I had a platform as a successful um, establishment dancer, I brought in the what I learned
Right.
because it was more organic.
Yes.
Whereas when you're doing ballet, your legs have to be really really straight, and this was more to the ground,
Right.
and it just hit my soul.
That's so true. I could
So
actually feel it as you speak it.
yeah. So if you do the Yonvalu, it's the dance of creation. And if
Yeah.
those who might want to see, I think I have a couple of. I used to go to the schools. I had a West African Haitian dance troupe.
Mm.
So we used to show the difference between the Haitian and how their dances became more spiritual, as whereas where they came from and from West Africa down to Angola, it was more it was more energetic and more male. This was more spiritual.
We even see that in our dance, even in compa versus other things, how it's more romanced, how it's more
Lyrical. Lyrical.
lyrical.
But
Yes.
I don't,
Yes.
I'm not that Haitian that does that French stuff.
No,
I don't do combat.
right. No.
I'm a total absolute roots
Oh, okay.
music.
I'm with you. Okay.
I
I'm with
just
you
do
then.
roots music, right? I don't do the European amalgamation or any of that,
Oh, I
because
didn't even realize that would
we
be
don't
looked
do
at as that. Wow.
that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
there are I'm a Racine roots music artist.
Gotcha.
I can
Gotcha.
tell you, for instance, if I do the Yanvalu, the
Yeah.
Yanvalu is the beginning of every ritual of a ceremony. Like if you're going into like a peristyle, right, and you're
Okay.
praying. So our
Okay.
prayer in Haitian culture is movement, and
Gotcha.
it also calls to it calls up an energy, and it has a
Mm.
color. So each dance has a color, a vibration, and a particular movement. And that was very interesting to me to
Yeah,
then
that
go
is.
study those particular things, right? Because Yonvalu, if you look at it, right, it's moving the Jewish people call it the Kabbalah. It's
Yeah, yeah.
moving the low energy from the bottom of your chakra up to the top.
Mm.
And the
Mm.
more you do it, it's a meditation of
Nice. Nice.
aligning your body.
Right.
Yeah.
That
So
is so beautiful. Like I've never heard it that way before. That's so beautiful, and it's so interconnected. That
I'll
again,
give you one
I
more
think.
example.
Please, please.
The the Igbo, one of my favorite
Hmm.
dances.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Imagine 300 years of European enslavement, right?
Hmm.
Um, and we still danced. This is why I say to ICN right now, even though they're giving you the great IT disaster story, you have to live. Because if our
Yes.
ancestors had not lived, we wouldn't be here. They produced, they lived. So um, the Yanvalu, excuse me, the Igbo, right? Both your hands are shackled. Both your hands are shackled. both your feet are shackled. That's the Igbo dance. And if I'll stand up, you see both your hands right here are shackled. And then you just go like this. And that's the dance.
Mhm.
And both your, so imagine being shackled and doing this dance. And the thing is, in their heads, this is this thing we don't understand about manifestation. You ever seen this thing where the arm goes up like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the breaking of the chain. That's the Igbo dance.
Yes.
The Igbo dance.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is like a dance like a class right now. And I never even heard this in this manner. This is like amazing. I'm getting chills hearing it. And I didn't even realize the European connectivity to compa. I didn't.
No,
I really didn't. I really didn't.
The music is so simple. You see, the thing about it is the music is so simple, and but what people have to understand is that American rock and roll and American spiritual music came of Haiti. It's not this compa stuff. It's the drums.
Right.
Because the Haitian, so Haitian came to Louisiana. And where does the second line and jazz come from? Igbo.
Louisiana. Igbo. Wow.
No. Yes. So that's why I say to Haitians, you've got to learn your history and your culture. Then you can share it. And so that's how I became, that's how I got into, it became organic. Because the more you dance those dances, the more the energy of the ancestors enter your body. Right. So for instance, there are people who can't have kids and you dance, let's say the Gede. It's a fertility dance.
Okay.
Right? It's a fertility dance. I remember I had a colleague of mine who was a dancer, and she was teaching women who couldn't get pregnant belly dancing. And I was looking at it. I was like, that looks like the Gede. And it's moving all that energy right there. Right. So we have such a culture. We have so much to teach the universe, but we are being pummeled. You see,
and it's just so crazy how much of IT is interconnected into everything.
Listen, America,
everything.
Okay, and the blacks who, took it to Louisiana and used those drums and move it up to, the horn. Right? In rah-rah.
Yeah.
They just haven't been able to, their development in IT have been stunted, where African Americans here took it, and it's the worldwide music now.
Right.
So I mean, besides the fact that because we won the Haitian Revolution, the United States became a world power, right? Because without us, France would have had to. I mean, France went bankrupt because it had sent 50,000 troops to essentially quelch the Haitian warriors, right? But it owned at that time the whole Louisiana territory, which was half of the United States, right? So Napoleon intended, because there was only 13 colonies at that time.
Yeah.
And they had gotten their independence in 1776. And we're talking now about like 1802. And the revolution has been raging on since 1791. So you have 20,000 troops that he left in New Orleans, right? Because he thought, and then he sent 30,000 to Haiti. Well, we beat their butts all over the Caribbean, so he had to take the 20,000 that he was going to try to conquer the 13 states with, brought them back as reinforcement, and we beat them.
Right.
So then Jefferson, who was only looking to buy the Louisiana because he wanted that port, was surprised with his emissary when Napoleon offered, $15,000, you can have the whole thing, because he was bankrupt, because we bankrupt him.
Right.
So we we doubled the size of the United States. But for the Haitian
And
Revolution,
it's so true.
we wouldn't have
And
had that.
you wouldn't have had the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah. Which made in whole or in part 15 new U.S. states. 15, and they had 13.
Right.
So besides the art, besides the, I mean, it goes on and on. I teach all of this all the time.
So, and because this, like, I swear, talking to you, but it's like I literally learn something new about my country on a daily. Even with what you already knew, there's something added, and I love it. It's just so empowering. But I also want to connect to, because there's one of the biggest things of you, and the fact that your name is one of our strongest lois they are for our women entities, which is Èzili Dantò. So for those who don't understand our spirituality, and especially why they don't understand why our flyer was a little different this week, we put the drums and the music for you. We found music particularly for Èzili for you, just to get that our ma tante moi, So, but I want to see if you were able to express the importance of your name, and and the energy that comes with calling ma tante moi Èzili Dantò, okay? Because you're calling. Please tell them what they're calling when they call you.
All right. So the original people on the planet did not put a face to energies. They recognized energy.
Right.
But they created hieroglyphics to call on those energies. And those energies are connected to the multiverse. So the symbol for the feminine warrior mother, the heart with the dagger in it, and that's Èzili Dantò.
Wait, which one am I wearing?
Yeah, show them. Let me see.
I was like, which one am I wearing? Which one am I wearing? Does it have...
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I think I have one. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
I'm trying to see it.
That's the shirt I want. That's the shirt I want.
We sell these, we the two energies that the Esley Network works with is the male and the female, right? Because just like the Tao Te Ching, two became the whole world, right? This is our Trinity. We don't have the three males, right? We don't have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
No.
We have we have like le marasa, le mot, et le mystère. That's just like the whole universe, right? And so 1 and 1 is 3 is a big Haitian parable, right? Past, present, and future, le marasa, le mot, et le mystère. Every other allegory you can think of, right?
Yep.
It's put together in that particular space. But on August 17, which we're coming to August, right? It just so happened that like I said, my father was Guinean, Neg Guinean. He always used to say it.
I love that.
And he always used to say it. And I didn't understand when I was little what it meant, but there was an energy coming out of what he said. Like I knew it was something strong. Like I'm not one of these like integrated Negroes who say Neg Guinean. Like it meant like I'm wild. I don't play with me. Don't think about it. I don't do like politically correct, like sit down and, he had, so, I used to listen to his music, but anyways, he used to say things like, ou intelligent, whatever. And so I was like that person. So I always liked history. And when you learn Haiti history, I made my first play was the Bwa Kayiman, well, it wasn't my first play. My first play is Red, Black, and Moonlight, because those are the textures. When I came back from Haiti, from Haiti, the ancestors gave me textures because they don't talk to you. They give you images and textures. And for me, it's been a lifetime breaking it down. Like I see the whole, and then you have to break it down so other people can understand it. So for me, you always see me with Red, Black, and Moonlight, right?
Right.
And it was a answer, because I wanted to understand why were the ancestors allowing what was happening to Haiti happen.
Gotcha.
So August. So the reason my name is Èzili Dantò
Mm-hmm.
is that I fit that vibration. I'm always defending those who can defend themselves.
Yes.
And then it's like I said, it's the warrior mother. But when Boukman, who was the warrior that began the Haitian Revolution, right? But in our culture, there was a time when women were the rulers. They were the ones that would choose amongst their male warriors who would lead.
Mm-hmm.
So the female warrior at Bwa Kayiman, and everyone thinks it's Cecile Fatima, but after a lot of research, I've come to realize that it is not. But it doesn't matter. The point is, Haitian women were part of the Haitian Revolution, and you guys can see, for instance, last year's Bwa Kayiman. I go into that question about who was the woman that was the mumble, which is the priestess at Bwa Kayiman.
Right.
She was an African woman. She was born in Africa. She wasn't a Creole.
Okay.
She was very, very connected. And I have her name, but I'm not going into it at the moment. But the point of the matter is, the first vibration, when they had this war council to begin the Haitian Revolution and get rid of enslavement and forced assimilation and direct colonialism and the triangular trade, there were certain principles that they came with. And as I studied those principles, I realized that I could not continue with my colonial name. So what was I? My father always said, Èzili. So I knew. So that's how it happened, because during the Haitian Revolution on August 14th, 1791, it was the vibration of Èzili Dantò that quickened, that came first. And then she was the historical woman, got her vibration and spoke, right? Èzili spoke and chose among the 200 warriors that were there. She chose Boukman to lead the revolution, right? Just like this goes back to Kemet and the time of the Kentakes, where they would choose Dahomey and all of that.
Yep.
So that was why my name is Èzili Dantò. She's a warrior. She's the energy of justice. She's like what the Kemetic principles are called the Mahat. She's justice.
Yes.
Right? So, and I always knew that what I was as a female wasn't what the establishment society was saying. So I found myself more there than I found myself, let's say, in the Abrahamic religions that have women as handmaidens without ability to really be part of the society in any ways except as a receiver. So that's kind of what happened. And Bookman said in his prayer, right? He said, throw away the image of the white man's God and listen to the voice of liberty within your hearts, right? So Dessalines would come back in 1804 when he first put together the nation. His independent speech, he said exactly the same thing. He said, we're calling ourselves free, but keep the names of the enslavers on our bodies.
Yeah.
And so he said, you got to get rid of the French from the name of the streets, the name on your bodies, because you don't have to anymore. You're free. So I don't have a colonial name.
I love that. And it goes right into what you do with being a part of justice, being a lawyer, growing into that. With your understanding of like being in law, you were going into, you said already, entertainment law, it changed. And now we're in the precedence of what we're dealing with today. Can you explain to us, not only as a Haitian American, a Haitian woman, a guardian of us, but as a lawyer, what are we dealing with right now with Haiti, especially from Haitian Americans who might have false precedences or ideologies that can help right now?
Well, the Haitian people are the most courageous people on the planet, and it's just my honor to represent them. It's or represent myself, really, honestly. It just so happens that when I'm representing myself, I'm representing my community. So right now, I mean, for 217 years since our independence, white body superiority can't take the idea that we beat them. Right?
Yeah.
We beat these bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they are psychopaths.
Yeah.
They have to come back and pummel you. And they first initially did it through the mulattoes. Mulatto sons of France assassinated Jean-Jacques Dessalines on October 17th, 1806. And since then, we've had neocolonialism in Haiti. Neocolonialism is where the European, the white settler nations and the Eurasians and Europeans, they work through a black face. So they'll give you democracy, and I spell that D-E, mock, M-O-C-K, K-K-R-A-C-Y, which is a fig leaf, right? You ever seen those Romans with like little fig leaf for their
small, yeah.
Their democracy is a fig leaf that hides dictatorship and the core group of Western nation control of Haiti and Haiti's resources. And my people always fight back. And because they fought back, because my dad fought back, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I'm same. Literally. I'm the exact same. I'm with you. So in speaking that though, we have come to a place where we're now here. And I know a lot of people are just, especially having you on the screen, I know they want to speak with what's going on with Jovenel, the gaping hole that it created with this assassination. I'm trying to be light on how I say this in respects, but I just, again, don't want to put ideologies from my American eyes, but from what I see from my Haitian people, I think that we are watching something that is the same people who we would ask for help created. All
right. So I told you guys, I don't do their narrative. Okay. There's no chaos in Haiti. The only people that are in chaos in Haiti are
I even believe it's on the media. I believe it's even on the media.
The only people who are in chaos in Haiti are the schooled Haitians who work with the UN, the OAS, and the international community because, they get privilege, power, and monies from it, selling out their own people. But the people of Haiti, have you noticed, right? They spent 4 years of Jovenel's rule. I mean, this man, for those who don't understand, the United States only put criminals in power. If you're not a criminal, they will not let you in power in Haiti. That's the first important thing that all Black people, no matter what your ethnic descendant, whether you were descendant from the Congo or Haiti or Jamaica, that's all you have to understand. It's replicated in every part of our community. It's also replicated in the United States. If they don't have something over you, you're not going to be in power. Because in order for them to fund, because the way they have their system to keep funding you to win an election, you have to compromise. Yeah. All right. So who is Jovenel Moïse? Jovenel Moïse is the men in pink. Now, I represent Ogu and Dantò, right? Those vibrations, the two vibrations of creation, right? But the European is a natural pederasty, right? He's naturally loves his penis, loves patriarchy is about their love for the male, right? That's why they have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and you don't see the woman anywhere.
Nowhere. And this
Okay, so
pedophilia stuff. But
yeah, so pedophilia is something.
we don't have to go there. We don't have to go there.
Okay, but it's about loving. Okay, so you remember what I told you? This is the sign of the warrior mother, right?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
is it the sign of the warrior mother? Because all that is family is hers. Everybody
Mm.
family until Yorugu and Chichiruri came into the universe, and nobody knows where he came from. He don't know where he came from. The more he digs, the more he finds us. So, if you
This is true.
remember, okay, because every child was a black woman's child, right? When she had to discipline, whether a girl or boy, right, she would literally have to take the knife from her heart to discipline, to cut out evil with good. But disciplining, she bled. That's her sign, right? Well, the Chichiruri, the Eurasians, those people, the people who are imperialistic, they took her sign of love and made it a little boy with the arrow.
Oh, right.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that little Cupid boy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
They
you're
love themselves
right.
as little boys.
You're right. The arrow with the you're right. That
They
just
love
angered
themselves as
me.
little boys. But I promise you, Èzili Dantò has returned because I'm here and I see so many others.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
because we have to take our space back because there's an imbalance, because we represent astrological energy, right? There's an imbalance in the universe. And that imbalance is this idea of putting profit over people, right? So when the indigenous people saw Columbus coming to Haiti, you know, they tell you it was the Tainos, but there were black people there. The black Caracols, the Guaninis, black. They had your skin color, my skin color. Okay? And they were not mixed with white people at that time.
Right.
Although the Mongolians had gotten there. And that's why I say to people, you know, when you see the Chinese coming, you better run again. Because we want to repeat the story again.
Right.
So essentially, I mean, what is going on? What happened on July 7th, 2017? What, 2021? I'm sorry.
2021. Yeah. I know, right?
I'll give you guys some stuff that I haven't told anyone. Anyways, so go to EziliDantò.com. I have written a very long piece. And normally, because most Haitian Americans are not ready to hear the truth, I do this for the next generation.
Right. I agree.
I leave an archive of, 40 years of work for the next generation, not this generation. Yeah. Those in this generation are few and far in between who can hear what I'm saying because they've been conditioned. So I speak to the very young, let's say the 19-year-old, not because.
Do you still see it with millennials too? Do you still see it with like people in my age or younger, and then Z's and so on?
I actually there are certain lights that are not getting shown. I do see some, but I saw, I was raised in that hip hop community and they destroyed what we were. They destroyed what the mother was. She became hoe. She became object, trophy wife, scandal, bed wench. It's all about that first chakra. Most people are just dealing with the first chakra, right? The desire for titles, to feel good, that they're not really looking at community or setting standards or any of that. And that's not where I come from. And I don't fight it or anything. I am what I am and I do what I do. Those who can step into it. I have seen, and I've said that I've seen, millennials, like moving forward in a way that like the generations before them have not. Right. So they are going towards economic development. They are, and self-sufficiency. I talk about that a human being has to be able to produce. I look at the duopoly, the demon rats and the Republicans. They essentially, one tells the Black community that it's, let's put the woman in welfare and then put the man outside to find no work.
Right.
And it's the process of effeminizing the Black male, because if you
Right.
can't provide, then the only thing that becomes important that the European likes is your sexuality.
Yeah.
And you see what they've done with that, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in IAT, when Obama and Biden were president, we are their laboratory, because we
Yeah.
have no European father nation. They can
Yeah.
do whatever they want to us. So they came and they brought us the men in pink. Sweet, Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is a US citizen.
Right.
And not, it wasn't supposed to be president. But Mrs. Clinton literally threatened Preval, who was the president at the time, with a coup d'etat. If they did not let Sweet Mickey become president. And he's the most gross misogynist that Haiti ever had. Okay. So he then brought us his lover, which is Jovenel Moïse, to essentially hold the space, because you don't have consecutive terms in Haiti. What just happened now, I can't, I don't think we have enough time to go over it, but essentially the assassination of Jovenel Moïse is because the United States wants to do what they're doing now, which is continue with their PHTK political men in pink political party. Because so they've continued. They just assassinated their own. And then now they have a transitional government and they can go to their selections.
So if he's a lover, is the wife just a ploy too?
I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit.
Okay.
In America, there's a lot of Black women who are beards to these people. I know that because I was in the entertainment industry. The intelligence agencies that control IT, they work through sex. So if they can't bend you over and have something over you, no, it's the same thing in the music industry.
Yep, that's true.
So it doesn't change. Their pattern do not change. And it's Sweet Mickey told everybody he wasn't even Haitian, right? And we know the Haitian. So everything about the Haitian Constitution, they don't want to apply the law. I'm a lawyer. They don't want to apply the law. What just happened today, where they just kill this man. And let me tell you, okay, all that baloney that they're throwing at you. One of the women that is a control opposition. She says she's a journalist. Is Jacqueline Charles. Jacqueline Charles will write all kinds of crap.
Yep.
Every single Reuters and AP would pick it up. Right? She just wrote like something that makes no sense about how Jovenel died. She said that Maxine was found outside the bedroom on the floor, shot. Right? Let me tell you, okay? I represent the masses of Haitians I'm telling you, since 2004, they've been killing us like we're just insects.
Right.
And I know what a gunshot wound looked like, because they send in mercenaries that would be like far away in order to make the people not go out into the street and say, no, we don't want this corruption. You don't represent us. You represent the core group of nations. And for those who don't know who the core group of nations are, they are the people we beat in combat, right? They are the great Western European powers. And remember, for 2,000 millenniums, the Eurasians have been fighting each other. They just have taken that fight global now to our territory. So I have a piece that talks about what Turkey, Russia, and Venezuela, what role they played in this assassination. Because what you will not hear from most Haitian intellectuals is that Haiti is sort of like a prize that they fight over. Right. So if Russia had wanted to help us, it would have helped us the way it helps Cuba and Venezuela. right? But Russia understands that when Haiti and the Haitian people do another revolution and essentially gets themselves free, so that the assets of their nation could be used to elevate the standard of their living, that will free Africa. They don't want that.
Right.
There will be a domino effect.
Right.
They both work together. And so even though the Haitian always asking Russia to help them, especially, there was 9 massacres of Haitian during the Jovenel reign, right?
Yeah.
So Matili was brought in, he was groomed and brought in to do what he did. He actually gave, under Obama, it was Bill and Hillary Clinton that ruled Haiti. They literally got rid of parliament. They did something called the Interim Haiti Reconstruction Commission. They raised $13 billion at the UN and left Haiti with cholera and the way you see it today. That $13 billion did not go to the people that I represent, right? It did not build any institutions. 13 billion. Now, what did they give their collaborators, their Black collaborators, the Black face, like the PHTK party? They gave them the money that Venezuela, most of the member states of the United that were giving supposedly money for the earthquake did not give it directly to Haitians. They essentially put it on their right hand and gave it to their left hand. They gave it to themselves for employment.
Right.
That's what they call foreign aid.
Yep.
The only foreign aid that Haitian get is the diaspora remittances, which is about $3 billion. That's the only thing that keeps our people alive, period. The rest of it is, we are a fiscal paradise. They say they're doing this charity, but they come in and just like welfare in America, it's dependency. They make you dependent. They control you. And if you're not doing what they want, you don't get any of the trickle down.
Do you believe that Haiti maybe can like connect with someone like Cuba?
All of those people are right there. If they had one, they all have a key to our jail because they're inside Haiti.
Oh, okay.
There is a color problem. We are an African nation.
I see that.
And nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk about socialism. But
colorism.
But nobody wants to talk about the racism in Haiti that all these nations perpetuate. All of them, including Cuba. Okay. A lot of the warriors for the Cuban Revolution were Haitian.
Right.
Okay. But there is a color problem. It's a global color problem. That's why my name is Èzili Dantò. I'm here for the Black women's children.
I'm with you.
Remember, when Pétion and Boyer assassinated the founding father of Haiti, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the reason they did is because Dessalines wanted the assets of the country. Like they had liberated themselves of the slave owners, right? He wanted the entire assets of the country to be divided amongst all of the enslaved people, including the mulattoes who came in Leclerc's ship to re-enslave Haitians, like the diaspora does today, right? The people. Okay, so the French would have children, and then they would take some of those children and they would send them to France to be educated. Boyer and Pétion, the presidents that came after Dessalines, right? They were diaspora. They came in the armada of France to re-enslave our ancestors. Okay. Today it's the same thing. The diaspora comes with their European ideas to re-enslave the masses.
That's
just
exactly
like,
how I
just
feel.
like Boyer and even Toussaint had a son. So what they used to do is they were the chasseurs. The free Black males were given guns, and they were given the what do you call that? The profession of going to find the maroon runaway slaves. That's what they use their mulattoes for in Haiti. Okay? So those are the people coming after me, the diaspora.
No, yeah. No, I understand.
Okay, they work for the UN. They work for, you know, the demon rats or the Republicans. You know, they want to maintain their power, privilege, and suburban amnesia.
Yep.
I disturb that,
Yep.
right?
Wow. Yep.
So that's what's going on right now. So a lot of these people you saw get sworn in today, a lot of them have American passport, which the government says you can't have, right? So it's like, unless if the United States doesn't like you, it will apply the law. If it likes you, it doesn't apply the law.
Apply the law.
So there is nothing legal about what just happened today with Ariel Henry becoming acting president and whatever they were doing, right? Because he swore himself in.
It doesn't even. Oh my gosh.
All right, but anyways, but let me tell you something, okay?
Yeah.
We are not in this. We have no horse in this race.
This race, right? It's the people on the ground.
There is a spiritual fight. This has been a spiritual fight for me, as well as a political fight. And I can tell you that after years and years and years, I have never been amused in my life. Okay, so they killed this man. And now they're putting out all these stories that make no sense.
None.
And so, and anyone who goes into this government is just playing their hands. The Haitian people are just sitting back. Because number one, okay, they don't care about us. Like the government wasn't taking care of the Haitian people anyways. They were
in the first place.
Predators.
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't know if Haitian Americans know this, but in the last 3 months alone under Jovenel, they displaced, like, so I see the figures between 12 to 18,000 families from their homes. They displaced them. So we have now internal refugees, people with no homes. Jovenel, now there's an arms embargo in Haiti. So we're not supposed to have all these automatic arms. Right. So, but Jovenel, okay, how does imperialism work in Haiti? So originally it was the mulattoes who were products of either rape or the coupling between the whites that were in Haiti and an African woman, right? Mm-hmm. But the United States decided to bring in Middle Eastern Arabs who had 1,000 years of enslavement to come to the land of Haiti. Something you will never hear about. What is happening? What is happening? So they own all the economic doors of Haiti. The 13 Haitian families that are the billionaires of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. You won't hear Jacqueline Charles of the New York Times or Reuters talk about them, but they are the most corrupt. There are the Hitlers of Haiti. So
it's always 13 elitists.
Yes.
It's always 13.
Okay. So they brought in these men for a reason, because Syrian Americans used to trade with Syrians in Haiti. Gotcha. And the United States would protect their interests, but they would not protect the local Haitians' interests.
Gotcha.
So the local Haitians, every time you try to have a business in Haiti, these families say, no, we have this monopoly. Okay. So here's some of the reasons you will never hear why they killed Jovenel. Okay. So Jovenel was totally corrupt, right? He essentially is one of these Haitian men who sold their soul for his pocket. Mm-hmm. But there came a time when his term was about to end. And the United States essentially was threatening him with, they threaten him with all kinds of things because that's how they control them, right? They say, mm-hmm. if you don't do this that we want, you're going to end up in Miami like Noriega or Guy Philippe on a drug charge. Mm. So they make sure, for instance, more than half of the Haitian parliament are drug dealers, drug dealers. And Mateli put them all in office for a reason, right? And the core group, which is 9 nations with their organizations, right? It's the United States led by Michelle Sisson, this white woman. There are 2 white women running Haiti, okay? It's Michelle Sisson, the U.S. ambassador, and Ellen Lalume, a 38-year hitman, or euphemistically call a diplomat for the United States, and she's at the UN, and she runs the UN BNU mission in Haiti. She's the one that shows who will succeed her candidate, Jovenel Moise, just now. We have nothing to do with it. Okay,
Wow.
they're running Haiti. Let's be sure. Let's be clear. They're running Haiti. They're not running free Haiti.
Right.
They're running Haiti, right? HA, like it's not pronounced hate, but the European they gave it that word. So they are running Haiti.
Gotcha.
They don't run what I run. They don't
Haiti.
run what the people in the countryside are moving forward with their lives.
Right.
So while the Republic of Haiti we call it the Republic of Port-au-Prince, right? Run by the two white women slavers, Michel Sisson and Ellen Lalume. The other ones so it's the U.S. that leads this, right? So it's a multi-nation fist, and it's the only place in the world where you have diplomats have combined all their interests as one fist against us.
Right.
Okay. So it's the United States, it's Germany, France, Canada, Spain, Brazil, and then they have 3 organizations that have all the Western nations. They have the OAS, Organization of American States, they have the UN, and they have the European Union. That's what they call the core group. They're the ones running IET. They run corruption. They only want Haitians they can bend down with no Vaseline. That's what they run, and that's what the PH to Cop ball head party is about. This killing was an inside job, obviously. Okay, we can never prove it. That's their point, though. It's a psychological warfare. You can see it, but you can't prove it because they have created these technical laws. Like you can't prove it, but they did it. I'll give you why I believe that it was an inside job. Obviously, you know, a president is supposed to have security, right? So where was his security?
Right.
All right. Also, the bedroom that said that he was in, that was his safe room. I'm told by my source that door to the bedroom was so reinforced that even if you put a grenade or a launcher, it couldn't have opened it. So how did that door get open? I'll just leave that out. I'll wait for y'all. Okay, just leave it out there. How? And let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something. Like I said, I've represented Haitians in prison, dead. I mean, but when a professional comes, they only kill you one way, a headshot.
Period.
That's it.
That's it.
So you need to tell me Martine was just hit in the arm?
Right. Thank you.
These questions.
And
I'm gonna put some questions out, okay? Just
yes,
you know,
please.
because it's my work.
Please.
And let me tell you something, okay? I've had 6 assassination attempts, so it don't matter to me. Because when I was younger, I used to be worried that nobody would know who I am, and you know. But if they get me now, everybody knows who I am. So I'm done. I have a legacy. It's done. It's out here.
Right.
So let me tell you, Haitian, what you're not going to read from Jacqueline Charles. Okay, I know for a fact he was in his safe room. Remember, I haven't been here 10 years. I've been here 30 years.
Right.
So even in hell, we've got sources.
Right.
I created this network for you because we fight differently. We do not want to become what we fight against. So it's okay if they come and kill me, because death is just a transformation. I laugh at these people. They keep killing us. No, listen, when you unjustly hurt or kill a sentient being, the universe itself is going to come for you.
Oh yeah.
They've got a karma coming. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They got a karma coming. So come and get me. Do what you want to do, because this is just my avatar. Because I represent
in that order.
energy. And let me tell you, that energy is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
they don't understand this because they are new to the universe, but we've been here billions, I mean, not billion, millions of years. Haiti is 1 billion years old. Under Haiti, we have, I mean, the things that we have like pyramids. So the European is in Haiti because of a strategic reason and because he's digging the water into those pyramids. If you all want to know what those pyramids, they're up in the north, and
Mhm.
they're also right there in where Lekai is, right? And in the okay, so
Mhm.
he's geologists, you know, they're like all into it. That's why they have these multinational cover stories of bringing democracy back to Haiti, and you see the type of cholera democracy they bring us, right? So Haiti is a sacred land, people, okay?
Yes.
And in that sacred land, where you've heard me talk about iridium, you've
Yes.
heard me talk about that's an asteroid that landed in Haiti something like 66 million years ago, supposedly killed the dinosaurs and
Yeah.
brought about a freezing age, right? But there are Haitians, there are folks that survived whatever that cosmic war was about. Remember, it also hit South Africa.
Mhm.
The remains of this asteroid is our mountains.
Mhm.
So I tell my people, you want to, and iridium also helps you open up your third eye. So all of that is right there in Haiti. Okay,
Mhm.
what they've done is like they brought us all this plastic because they're the way they live. So now when you go to Haiti, it's like inundated with plastic and cardboard and things that don't degrade. So we have,
Yeah.
but it's not the Haitian garbage. That's foreign garbage. That's
Right.
on your space, right? That's
Right.
why Haitian go back to your laku. Create something. Create like plant a mango, stop eating that GMO stuff from
Yep.
the Dominican
Yep.
Republic and from, Arkansas.
Yep.
Um, so, okay. Why did they kill him? Like I said, I have a piece out. Okay. You can find it right on my website. You got to be patient because I put in a lot of things in there.
Right.
Okay. But
Mhm.
one of the things that's not in there, okay, is they are preparing Maxine for the elections. And they're
I
giving
see
her
that.
this image of being a martyr.
Right.
Okay. But we can just laugh and sit back because it's like so obvious,
Right.
right?
Right.
We already know. I made this call for the ancestors long time ago, 1994. Took them a damn long time to get here. But Guinea Posé people,
On
remember
time.
I said this, Guinea Posé, okay?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
essentially, like I was talking to a source of mine this morning, and he was telling me about like, okay, there are many theories, and I have no proof, right? But we know, like I said, professional hitmen do not shoot you in the arm.
Right.
Okay, that's one. We
They
also
don't get caught in 24 hours.
yeah, and they also don't, they kept trying to figure out whether to kill her or to make her critical ill. And they finally decided she would be an asset. So she's a weapon.
Right.
Let me tell you something else. These Neanderthals got technology on their side.
Yeah.
And so if you look at Jovenel Moise, and it's a very gruesome murder. So the question is, who opened that safe door? Because he was inside. They had given him a special phone. So even
Mhm.
if somebody had cut the line or whatever, or messed around with the satellite, he had a special phone. So he
Mhm.
was able to call people. So who opened the door to let this
Mhm.
Colombian or the security in?
Right.
Right. So he
Right.
was
Serious.
barricaded. Right. According to Miss Jacqueline Charles, Miss Martine Moise was found in the hallway. And the story I hear was that she pretended to be dead. Let me tell you, if you're
They would go and shoot you to make sure you're dead. What do you mean, yo? What do
okay,
you mean, man?
stupid. And the thing about it, people, is it's a psychological warfare because no matter how much you see, you can't do anything about it.
Right.
And that's the message you're telling us, because this killing is a message. And it's not so much for us, not for people like me. All right. Because I don't give them my pain. I used to before. I used to be,
Mhm.
but I realized that Black pain feeds whatever energy animates these people,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And that's why they're always showing you Black people being killed by the police, because it feeds that energy. And that's why I ended up writing Red, Black, and Moonlight. Because when I got to IET, right, I was fresh, right? But there was an energy trying to enter my body, and I felt it.
Mm.
Right, but my body, whatever is in me, pushed that energy out. And so in this scenario, I feel that energy. Like I can always, whatever is animating these people, right? It works through chaos, because
Right.
when you're in
Right.
chaos, when everything makes sense and nothing makes sense,
Right.
then you can't be one pointed to manifest. And
Mm.
I tell Haitian, in order to manifest, you have to stay one pointed, and you cannot be distracted, because this is a distraction, right?
Mhm.
I always ask, what is the Americans doing in IT while they're giving us this theater?
True.
And so you have to, and you know, it's
True.
not everything I can say here, people,
I
but
understand.
so essentially, what I was told today was that somebody had to open the door.
Mhm.
Um, they look like they're putting my team up as a candidate for their election that they're going to have. Right. See, it's always about that fig leaf, right? So they want elections in November, I think September for parliament, and then for president in November, December. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? They keep saying we're in chaos. We're not in chaos. We've never been
No.
ruled by these Negroes.
Right.
Okay. They're
Right.
just out there, doing the peacock dance. I
Right.
mean, imagine, right? If they had any sort of if these Haitian politicians had any sort of pride, if they remembered Henri Christophe, do you think they would have left that palace broken since 10 years ago?
No.
So the palace is
No.
broken and you can't rebuild, and you're the
No.
you're the descendants of Henri Christophe, the builder of the citadel. They
Right.
were embarrassing. They are
Right.
not what I am. I don't know where the
Right.
hell these Negroes came from.
Right.
Okay. But they're all fighting to go to this broken down palace that nobody has fixed, and that the white
Right.
man's laughing at them in their little laboratory in IT.
Right.
They ain't laughing at
Right.
me. I mean, they're laughing at these
No,
Negroes.
them.
Okay.
Them.
KNEEGROW. All right. They stay
Right.
on their knees. All these
Right.
politicians. Right.
Right.
So the reason he was at his private residence is because they never fixed the palace.
Right.
Okay. And it's a shame they're going to go to the election for a broken down palace since the earthquake. That makes no sense for the people who built the
And
this.
that would never stand with the White House here. I'll tell you that right now.
They have
That
no pride.
never stand.
They have no pride. The only thing they want to do is jump in bed and let somebody jump on their backs. That's it. And go buy $1 million houses in Florida and France and so on.
Canada, wherever.
But they're not concerned about the visual image that everybody sees in terms of Haiti and the people, or the facts that in Guyana and Barbados, they're just killing our people.
Right.
So anyways, the good news is this. There is when I heard that this man who we have been trying to say doesn't represent us was assassinated, my first feeling was, I hope it wasn't like some Timalere, right? As soon as I knew it wasn't some Timalere, I was let me just sit back and enjoy the show.
Right. Pretty much true.
Because I could care less.
Right. And that's the other thing I don't understand. Like this man wasn't, like our savior in there, like. So he's shot.
Yeah, but psychological
not to
warfare.
say like that, but exactly.
Let me tell you something, okay? And I'll say this too.
And our spirituality wouldn't go that way, that too.
Yeah, I've talked to like CARICOM Negroes over there at the 15 island states.
Yeah.
There's a regional organization called CARICOM, the Caribbean organization, whatever. Okay. And we make 60% of CARICOM. So they're so afraid of IEC. The whole purpose of CARICOM is that we're supposed to be able to get visas for free, and we're supposed to be able to travel to all, but they make exception for IEC. They make an exception for us. They
That's
have
crazy.
visas for themselves, right? So I'm like, don't even come and talk to me about democracy.
Right. Right.
We make, hey, the figures are wrong, okay? Just like the figures are wrong for African Americans, right? I don't know where they are right now, but it's not no 40 million people, okay? There's more of us. But, and we're not 11 million, okay? We were 13 million when I was in Haiti in 1994.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
I know that if you go see my play, because I asked Aristide, I was like, why are they lying about how many people here? Because they're scared of us. And so when they came to they really just want to depopulate the world. I mean, and it's not just,
they do.
Right? They essentially have put in their memorandum 200 that they want only 500 million people on the planet. Right. That means they want to kill 7 billion people. So that means you too, white people.
Right. Right.
And by the way, the Esley Network has a lot of white folks.
Right.
Because
they don't even understand that Haiti frees you white people too from this, because it's a greater world. And that's why they oppress, because Haiti breaks, just like that one, because I believe, I actually was thinking about this the other day. I was like, that one world religion that counteracts what they're doing is our spirituality and voodoo. It's in our drums. It's in our dance. It's in the speaking of our frequencies that really should be, not like what they want, just like our currency should be in our lands and in our trade and so on. Like we are the opposing of what they're trying to do to bring the downfall of the planet, of humanity.
Of humanity, because like nature itself has had enough of this profit over people system.
Period.
Nature itself. Okay, I can see it. I could feel it.
Period.
Okay, and whatever plot that they have made for us, I send it right back to you.
In that order.
Okay, and I have said, Michel Sisson and Ellen Lalure, my name is Èzili Dantò, and every time I go on, I say, we curse you and your whole entire bloodline.
Listen, and I'm going to make sure that I say it right after she says it. Okay, just being of the next.
That's our power. Okay, you can't take that away from us. That is our power, because all Haitians want is to live in peace and have the assets of their nation be able to better elevate their living standards.
Right.
They are
on their land for themselves.
People, they want to travel. They have locked us into a prison for 217 years. Only a few of us can get out. And those of us that do get us, they treat us like crazy at other places.
And Haiti's the one who actually did suffer that 400 years, guys. American Blacks, you still haven't dealt with the 400 years yet from what they're talking about. Haiti dealt with that, and we're still well over.
I think that we are so entwined. I don't, because Èzili left us a template of how to issue into the world. He didn't just create this empire of liberty for just the enslaved Africans and original people that were on that island. Joseph Èzili was a Pan-Americanist also, not just a Pan-Africanist. He sent generals to go liberate 5 Latin American countries.
Right.
We liberate the Negroes in the Dominican Republic, who today actually believe themselves to be Spanish and Taino.
Right.
So,
right.
We've done a lot.
We liberate America.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Every single American, of course, every Black person fights back. Okay. So Black Americans were fighting since, 15, whatever, 19, whatever the date that they say they were there. All of us fight back. Okay. There's Igbo.
We all.
There's all of that, right? The Igbos were everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
The revolts were all over.
You see them, right? The Congo, Queen Nzinga's people
Yep.
was in the, this Congo Square right there in New Orleans. Okay.
Yep.
There was
Yep.
the same descendants that the historical Èzili Dantò came out of Queen Nzinga's people, because the template for beating white supremacy was set in the King Congo language at Bwa Kayiman on August 14, 1791. Bamba, Kanga, Mundele, Kanga Bafyochi, Kanga Najoki, Kanga. Yo, that's King Congo. That's Queen Nzinga's language.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Queen Nzinga is worshipped in Haiti as Mum Nun.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And so yeah, and that template, what I just said to you guys, it means we got to the Bwa Kayiman call that began the Haitian Revolution was like, Kanga Mundele, we got to kill the stranger, because like I said, everybody was family on the planet.
Yeah.
Some stranger came along, and he he came along and he saw Ana Kawona's beautiful people in Kawonabo, and all he thought to do was to rape them and kill them.
Right.
That was like strange to us.
Right.
For gold, which is now what he's come back to do, because Haiti has about $100 billion worth of gold. Ateli essentially was put into office to give 30% of our gold belt, or actually 15% of Haiti lands he gave up there on the gold belt, right? You guys can see this. One of the things I'm known for is the non-colonial narrative, which means I talk about Haiti's riches, not Haiti's poverty. I talk about Haiti's being non-violent compared to the other nations that are surrounding us. Right? Because like I was talking to someone from CARICOM the other day, and this man just kept spewing the colonial narrative. He kept saying to me, well, there's a gang problem in Haiti, and then there's your police can't control the gangs, and so you need our help. And I say, where did you come from? Jamaica, right? Could you tell me what the Jamaica gangs
is doing? Right, exactly. Exactement.
Before the European got to Haiti in 2004, our homicide rate was 5.6. Today it's doubled because they've been here.
Right.
And it's like 13 now.
Right.
But we were
that's everywhere. I hope people understand that.
Dominican Republic, we were lower. I mean, the homicide rate in Jamaica, I mean, it's sad.
It's sad.
It's 43%, 47 for every 100,000. So it's like 4 times and you're going to talk to me? I'm not one of the Haitians who don't know where I come from, what I am.
Right.
I said, listen, okay, if you want to get rid of our gang problems, you go to Bijou, who owns a port, Lafito, and Merv, who own Port Vares. They're the ones that are bringing in those guns. Go to the source. But they won't even name those people. They want to name little street gang people that are hired by these perverted Haitian politicians.
Like, who's paying them? That's the point. You guys have to pay attention. Who's paying them?
I said, you stop that boat that's bringing in those illegal guns, and they won't have any bullets for those guns.
Right.
I mean, they can do that tomorrow. But you see, they're used to Haitians who know nothing. Like, they'll go to these Haitian American neon people who know nothing. And those are the ones they have in front of you. And they will listen to this stuff and it will make sense to them, because that's all they hear. They're not even studying my work.
Right.
Okay.
That's my point as a Haitian American.
I'm right here. Why are they studying my work?
And I just want Haitian Americans to really hear this, what's being said, like really hear this, because I'm saying this in respects of being one. I am proud and we want to help our island, but we can perpetuate the same ideologies that are damning our island to this day. And I really need Haitian Americans to sit with that, maybe sit in our culture, maybe call some luas, put aside your white Jesus, and think about it maybe a little bit more before the things that we're asking to come to our country, because I'm telling you, it's concerning to me what our own mouths, especially like, for example, because of censorship, whatever, but with this pandemic, our island didn't have a problem with this. So
I know.
why,
And they
so
just
why, so
500,000
why would you send vaccines? But I'm still not seeing our money though.
because the depopulation agenda is real.
Because all they want to do is kill you or sterilize you.
It's
Because the depopulation is real.
Done that. Listen, they did it to the
Like
Puerto
she said.
Rican women.
Yes.
You know, they did it to the Puerto Rican. The only reason they haven't been able to do what they do, I mean, they, you know, I represent a lot of Haitian women who they have sterilized, who
Right.
can't have babies anymore.
Right.
You know, they want their men to have babies. You know, they want to be the woman.
Right.
They want to kill Èzili Dantò.
Right. Right. Right.
I'll tell you something else, okay, about Èzili Dantò. So this is an energy and a vibration, okay, of what I am, all right? Like if I see a sentient being hurt, I will try to do what I can to stop that hurt, right? It's the warrior mother, right? Nurture all of that, right? I'm about clean food. I'm about, you know, I entered my culture through like what I was. Like I was a tactile person. But the beautiful thing about our culture is like whatever your metet is, like whatever it is that you're really good at, that's how you enter it.
Right.
So for instance, like some people enter it as like a herbalist. Like they have a green thumb, they can grow things and they can create, you know, concoctions for people who are sick.
Yeah.
So that's another way to enter into Vodun. And then once you enter there, you will see like all the stuff I was able to see, you will see a whole different stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Or you can enter Vodun as there's a lot of people like paint, like the best painters in the world. Right. All the European paintings came out of watching the colors of Haiti. Realism and all of it. Right. Because spirit is abstract. And the reality is not linear. A voodooist knows that, right? It's like a palipes painting, right? There's one thing like at the top, but if you look at that painting more, you see so much more.
Right. Right.
And these are the lessons of Haitian, you know, so whatever you are, Haitien, you can enter into it like doctors, journalists, philosophers, lawyers. There's, you know, so when I entered into it, you know, it was as the lawyer of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and he said, you know, do you know any other lawyers who are maybe like you who would want to come back to Haiti? And at that time, there was a lot of killings that had gone on for the coup d'état, and they wanted to have a truth commission.
Right.
So I wrote a legal agenda. Right. I worked with the people that were, and it was really about creating a justice system that would meet who we are, not a justice system that would be a replication and a copy and paste of the European justice system. So I went to Israel. I went to Japan. Japan has a spiritual system like the Shinwei. Like they won't build a house unless it's connected to like whatever vibration is right. Haitian has that same system. So back in 1994, I was studying at the Lacus to figure out what our justice system should look like, because it shouldn't look like, because we're different people than the white settlers.
Right.
Okay. And we're not supposed to be a republic in the first place.
Right.
Right. Haiti should be like Monaco, or let's say the Vatican. It should be a place for a particular group of people. So that particular group of people is a descendant of Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And it's the Empire of Liberty. So like in Monaco, the descendants of those monarchs, they can't sell their land.
Right.
So you can come and visit, but all that land should belong to Haitian.
Right.
And we should be allowed to create our culture and bring you in. and fix all of the various, for instance, all of the various edifices. Like we do Henri Christophe's citadels, put in who we are and what we are, and then bring in the tourists.
Yeah.
The lacus, right? If you automate those lacus, right, and you bring like 10 of them together, and then you put together all kinds of ways. All you need is 3 people to push buttons to automate it. And you have avocado. You have all of these foods that you can then trade what you don't use for yourself, but you yourself should be first.
I need you to talk to my mom. Like she says these too. She says this too so much. How she's like, we used to do it.
Why is that going to hurt the United States? Why do they want us to go do work on these? Haitian is more like entrepreneurial, right? We don't work in your factories.
Yes, exactly.
That's not who we are.
Black
people are not what like that automated thing. And when we do become that automated thing, it eats at our soul.
It does.
And so we're saying to the world that it's not a good thing to work 35 years in a factory and then die of cancer the next year when you retire.
Right.
Which has happened to my family.
Yeah. Yep. That's
right.
Crazy.
I mean, as soon as they retired,
right.
You know, all that accumulated anxiety, all that accumulated high blood pressure, they spend their whole life going to the doctor.
Right. It's so true.
That is not a good way to live. When I look at Haitian, I notice that my grandparents lived longer than my parents who came to America.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they were not
crazy enough. They probably
sugar and meat stuff.
Yeah, and your grandparents, sadly enough, might probably live longer than some of our Haitian children, Haitian American children, like will live.
And what glitters is not gold, people.
It's not.
But they're not hearing it, okay? Because they tell them to, I heard my father when he said, why aren't you dancing the Yanvalu? And my mother was like, stop, say job,
Right. And I love that. I actually think my father there was a part of his life that was that way. And I started realizing, and somewhere, somehow, something got changed. And
because when you come here, that there is something, the mass consciousness, even if you're not partaking into it, there is a mass consciousness of what is normal. And that mass consciousness, pushes you into accepting things that are not acceptable.
I can understand that. That's why I was considered what they called what is it called again? When you're when you're bad. I forgot when they call you. But because I was a kid who always questioned those type of things, because although it's your norm, it doesn't feel right to me, right? So they used to call me why I always say it and I forget now my language. Every time I'm on the spot, I forget. But anything like bad and for a child in Creole, like malpop like I was just everything in the book that just because I was questioning. It wasn't that I was bad. It just was as I questioned those things.
I understand. I have
what I mean?
I have a piece called School's Out. I think I won the Connecticut Playwright Fellowship for it. You guys can see some of my pieces on like Little Girl in the Yellow Dress, Breaking Sea Chains.
Yes.
Been out here for a while putting these, and it's just
and she really has
whatever it is. Okay, so there's always a play for what like this is gonna be a play. I don't know.
It is. Oh, I can't wait. I
have the play for the
I can't wait.
I have Bwa Kayiman, I have the Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the greatest hero who ever lived, and the women who influenced him.
Yes.
I talked about Grand Guitan, who was his spiritual advisor. I talked about Tontoya, who taught him how to do hand-to-hand combat. I have a Patreon, and I'm hoping, once I get some time and resources, I'm going to put out some episodic graphic novels of these Haitian women the Haitian Revolution.
Hack is here to promote anything of that.
Say again?
No, Hack is here to help promote any of that when you do and start.
Yeah, so because you know, I've been writing a lot, but people don't read, so I'm going to try to do more visual work. So I'm all of the teaching that I've been doing for so long, we're going to put I have a niece who, like, she can draw, you know, so we've been working on putting together you know, a heroine. And then we're going to do these episodic, like, you know, like the Japanese, they have like these episodic graphic novels. We're going to do
My daughter draws
and
like
I'm looking
that.
for all Haitian help,
like, you know, anime type stuff.
So we're working on trying to do that. That's on my Patreon for those who might want to participate in that. What else do I have? Of course, you know, we've got Èzili Designs. Yeah, right, because it lifts up the most important thing is to lift up who you are, right? It's not that you're saying you're better than other people's culture, but this is yours.
No, but this is
and
mine.
It gives you something that is authentic to share with the universe. So imagine if Haitians all over the world, you know, at the beginning of they learn, let's say, you know, 5-6 languages like the European do, right? They could stay in Haiti, live in their mountain spaces. Is there an echo?
I don't know. Do you hear one? I don't have one.
Okay. As long as it's good for you.
Okay.
Live in their mountain spaces, but they can work remotely and make an income. They don't have to leave Haiti. Haiti can be like a paradise. I say all the time, for instance, right? The reason that they want Haiti so much, okay? And I say it all the time. You guys can really look it up, okay? I don't want to spend the time.
Yeah.
Just tell me where you want me to. Is because of our riches, right? The gold, the iridium, the oil, and then that windward passage between Venezuela and Cuba, and the fact that they know that if they lose Haiti, there's just like there was a domino effect, and all of these revolutions came afterwards, like we had to be abolished in America. Well, the profit over people system is going to have to be abolished when our culture becomes something that people look at and we say, you know what? We need to put people over profit.
Yeah.
The environment and the earth over profit. But I still don't even know that that's what they are.
Yeah, that's 100% true. They don't. They've been so far removed from that.
So, you know, free Haiti. So if you guys want, okay, if this is my logo, there you go. Okay, you can put that.
I love this logo. I love this logo. She knows this is my favorite. I love all the shirts, but this is my favorite. Come and get
their shirt. I run out of small sizes. I have tons of extra large.
The shirt you're wearing is the one that was out of stock that I need.
Yeah. Standing
I need that.
Living without fear.
I need that because I believe in the movement.
Rock your culture, people. Okay.
Yeah.
Rock your culture. Be who you are.
And what I wanted to just in closing, because I appreciate you even staying, because I will keep my mouth on. But you were saying a little bit of it. It's in closing. What is the next steps for Haitians that are not in Haiti to understand we need to do? And then in closing, for Haiti abroad and Haiti right there, even to the young Haitian woman, Haitian girl who doesn't even know she's part of the work that you're leaving for her, for him. What would you say to them in parting? What would you say to Haitians abroad in actually helping their motherland in a proper way, not in the ideologies of wherever they may be?
First, you have to have something to give. To have something to give, you have to educate yourself. So that the first thing is self-care. And I don't care where you are. Self-care, take care of yourself. If somebody is hurting you, move away. If someone's not providing you with power and making you feel good, and you're not doing anything wrong. Just because in our Haitian communities, there's a lot of backward stuff. So, and I've had
Mm.
as a I've had to deal with a lot of it. So I'm just saying to all Haitians, especially women, okay,
Mm-hmm.
do, like, if you're interested in traveling, go do it. If
Right.
you're interested in, because first you got to take care of yourself. In order to give anything to anybody, you've got to take care of yourself. That's the first
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I tend to forget it sometimes, like right now with this
Everything.
disaster story. A hashtag is
Mm.
called, because what do Haitians in Haiti want? They want a tabula rasa. They want the system destroyed.
Yes.
That's like for the president to be gone or the
Right.
politicians to be gone.
The
What is the
system.
system? The system is that you have these Middle Eastern white Haitians who control 98% of the wealth, and you don't even
Mm.
get the trickle down. And then you have these NGOs, white people can get jobs in America, who come and tell
Right.
you that they're going to, like, give you aid, and all they are is the soft arm of empire. It's fake.
Right.
And I've had to try to put a few of them in having sexually abusing them, and I have
Right.
peace because they left the 2004 to 2013, the mission. But
Yeah.
Bonaire was a mulatto. He fought with Saline.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not just, that one thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are also free black males. There was a big general over there in the South who was a free black general, and he was fighting on behalf of these productive
Mm-hmm.
make some music that is empowering, that is Racine music. Essentially,
Yes.
the same thing I'm saying to you, to US blacks. Get out of these cities, go to the land, get rid of these, like, misogynist music, and get some music that where women love males who are
Mm-hmm.
protective, just like you see the
Right.
country music. The country music is about love and family and
Right.
the earth.
Right.
They know what they're doing. We don't know
Right.
what we're doing. We gave them that music. And now we're doing all kinds of crap that makes no sense.
Right. You got this stupid kid and trying to
work.
I don't even know what that artist is, but I think we can even feel what I'm talking about with the sneaker, and I don't even.
Like I said, I was a hip hop attorney for a long time, and I had to leave that arena because it was soul destroying. And
Right.
that's when I got to Haiti. Actually, the UN had the Clinton had brought in 20,000 troops in those days, and I saw these white Americans, and they were blasting from their trucks Sweet Mickey's music, 1994. Okay, and he had this music that was saying "Lavalas lead, lavalas noir." I'm like, what? I said to
Right.
them, why are you playing this? This is the most racist thing I've ever heard.
I have
To
ever
this
heard.
day, they condition all Haitians to think that like being black
Black
or
is bad.
is the worst thing in the world.
Disgusting.
Of course,
Bad.
they'll take light-skinned guys. Get rid of the black woman used to be like a mother, a bitch, to be passed around, and a crackhead.
Right.
But they left us.
Right.
I say that's not what I am.
No.
And I know, so I have done, tons of friends that's not what we are. But we had to fight the Kamala Harrises. We had to fight those type of women that were brought to be the prosecutors and fill the industrial.
And crazy enough, she's the one who would be the prostitute, the sword, the put on her back, to do all that. The Kamala Harris would be the one to be that, to be in that position to even do that.
My generation, I'm telling you, those are the black women because they were the ones that were elevated. The Joy people over at The View, I can't remember who she was.
Yeah, I know it. I remember what you mean.
Her name,
that Sunny one. The
Sunny.
I think her name is.
I stopped watching them, but I'm talking.
Yeah, I don't remember them. I
don't know these like that crew, but these black women are not about what is happening to their own communities at all,
no, they're not.
And they just have suburban Asia and go be honorary.
And they're used for that.
They're
used exactly for that.
But I have been the counter to that. I've been a counter to that, whether I was in IT or whether I was here in America. So for me, self-care, and don't allow this psychological warfare, like whether it's police brutality, to take your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Be your own, like undo all that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what you want in the world and step into it. If you actually step into it and you never look left, you never look right, what is inside of you will help you get it done.
Right.
So this thing right now, this Jovenel installation, it's like it's the only reason that happened is because they understand. Like we went against the most powerful people on the planet. Did I show you all those countries? Right?
Right. Oh yeah. You would say right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And they had to kill their puppet in order to have a new president.
Exactly. And that's even that you have to see how much
it was because
power we have.
A lot of Haitian died for all this. Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They are not speaking about that too.
A lot of Haitian, like I'll say,
a lot.
You guys should look her up.
Yeah, the woman.
She was a friend of mine. Her name is Antoinette Duclair, and you can look up. Her page is still up on Facebook. I have like a lot of friends. I didn't even know she was my friend on Facebook. Okay, but she was, and when I was like, wow. So they killed her with a shot to the head, and she was a human rights activist, a
Yeah.
women's rights activist. Okay.
Yeah.
And they killed her like 5 days before Nell died. And this is what we
Mhm.
on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I got her information before Jovenel. I remember that, and that was
Yeah, and so I was
that
like,
should have been spoken of more than.
yeah, I was like grieving for her
Yeah.
and all the other women. And when that hit, so my own question was like, I hope it's not like somebody who got frustrated that I might know. I'm like, please, please.
Right.
Leave when they said foreign mercenaries, because you can look up like 2000 for having illegal weapons and sniper fire and all this stuff. They got arrested for those illegal weapons. Michel Sisson, the U.S. ambassador, essentially put them on a plane to Miami where they got free. So when I heard that it was about mercenaries, the first thing I thought was like, there's no way they're going to let Haitian police capture these people.
Right.
Soon as I saw the Haitian people capturing, I was like, oh, this is a cover up.
Yep.
Because we already had the experience
Right.
of the mercenaries, and they protected
Right.
their mercenaries. These guys are fall guys,
Right.
in my opinion.
Listen, there's no mercy
Okay,
honestly,
so
there's no mercenaries that look like that or get caught that quick. No.
really, okay, no, but you also got to remember, right? For the last 3 months, the whole news was about the bandits, the kidnapping, and how the Haitian police was overwhelmed.
Right.
So they were overwhelmed that they couldn't take care of their own citizens, but they can get these professionals in a minute.
Like that. Right. No.
So they
No.
might have been doing it on purpose. Then. If they are that, in my opinion, okay, that's my opinion. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be my name too.
Exactly.
All right, I think Colombia. Okay, so they couldn't bring back the UN, and I know they were trying to bring back some sort of military because the Cheriziers and the G9 and the so-called bandits, right? They got street gangs, and then they repped up the kidnapping. But a lot of those things were foreign mercenaries who were dressed like, some of them are dressed like street gangs. They go back and forth, right? So for me, okay, we don't know what happened to the security. Dimitri Harad was on the outside perimeter. They said there was about 24 Haitian guards. Well, what they're not talking about is the white mercenaries that he hired as his personal bodyguards. Where were they? Nobody's talking about the white American. You saw when Madame Moise came off. Did you see those tall mercenaries like the U.S. guards? Those were the guys that should have been on the inside of Jovenel's house. He had hired a company.
Wow.
To be on the. Where were they, and why is no one talking? About them?
Right.
Nobody's talking about them. Like they didn't even exist. The only time I saw it was when Moise came. Madame Moise came out of that plane and came back to Haiti.
And my feeling, but the only reason if they wouldn't talk to them, if they're still doing their job, because a man is underground somewhere.
Listen, okay, I give you my own experience. Okay, when they took Aristide out the second time, he had hired 2 mercenaries, white mercenaries, to be his bodyguards. And later on, I questioned one, and you know, we are so naive. Because, you know, Aristide thought like they were really going to protect him if the United States like pulled him. Listen, they're a former U.S. military. They got a pension.
Right.
They can get bonuses for doing whatever the U.S. wants them to do.
Right. And they could always call him back in, former.
And they could always
for Jovenel,
okay? They called them back in.
Let me tell you.
Back in 2004, when I asked some of these guys down, and if they didn't, their pension would be in jeopardy. Okay, so I can only give you my experience. I don't think no one else has some of the experience I've
I
had.
I could see
So
that too.
from
I
my
could see that.
experience, I want to know two things. I want to know, where were the white guards that were on the inside? What
Yeah.
happened? Why were they
Yeah.
miraculously not there? And why is Jacqueline Charles not asking those questions?
Right.
So this other fall guy is this Christian Sano, Christian Emmanuel Sano, who's apparently some doctor out of Florida that they say was the intellectual head that he actually hired these Colombians. That makes
Mm.
absolutely no sense, because everybody knows that he was bankrupt. So where did he get all the money to hire
And
30
I don't.
30?
In that order.
It's
In that.
so funny. Being right. This man that they're saying the intellectual saying, he was serving a 2019 warrant for Jovenel. He said that he wasn't supposed to be killed. He was supposed to arrest him with the Colombians and serve this arrest warrant. And then he said, "Oh my God, he was."
For real.
And I believe the thing
So
about
where do you came from? Like what?
I know so many Haitian men. The only thing they think they can do is be president.
Oh my God.
I, so I think Free Haiti did not want Jovenel in power, was because we knew the United States had a dossier on him, because before he became president, he was indicted by a Haiti court for money laundering, drug monies. Before they became president, he wasn't even qualified to be president based on the Constitution. You're not supposed to have
Right.
criminal background that's still pending in court.
Right.
So even
Yes.
when he became office, there could have been some sort of indictment. If not, I'm like, what is the 2000? The guy said supposedly 2019 warrant. I know I have been trying to get a Haitian judge to put out a warrant for Jovenel, and we could not do it because they were all scared. So who put out this 2019 warrant? Like, for him?
Right.
Inquiring minds want to know, and why is nobody asking?
Exactly.
If it was the DEA, then they are responsible for his death. Because
and I was even and even that, because if that's true too, right? Especially when they called out, or you hear the call out for DEA, right there. Why the hell is DEA being called?
Because he was an indicted money launderer, drug. So everybody knows that. So if I was security, let's say that happened, they probably always were threatening him. How could you run a country like that? And listen to me. Okay, there's a man right now. His name is, oh my God, Lambert. He's the head of the Senate, a Senate that hasn't been working for since Jovenel started ruling by decree, right? Because he dissolved the parliament. The only left was like 10 senators, but they didn't have a quorum.
Right.
All of a sudden, these 10 senators are coming out saying that, I mean, where were you in the last year? They're like, well, they don't have a quorum, right? But they just chose Joseph Lambert, the head of the Senate, as the real president of Haiti. I mean, you gotta laugh.
You have to.
I mean,
You
come
have
on.
to.
Okay, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry.
You have exactly.
Okay, but guess what? They have a dossier, and I can say it. Okay, he has a drug dealing dossier. This guy. So I'm gonna just
I can't believe this.
we're gonna deal with this again. Listen, okay, I cannot be. I can't let these people engage my energy with what they're doing to us. So right now, like a day ago, there was three of them saying that they were president, right? Joseph Lambert, senator guy, the guy he said, the Constitution is not working, and it said when there's no Supreme Court person, then the head of the Senate become president. I was like, where were you for the last year, benefiting from the death of Jovenel? But for the death of Jovenel, he would never have said that. But for the death of Jovenel, Claude Joseph, he was a fired prime minister. But today, it's just
all of a sudden he like, oh,
okay, forget about that stuff. Okay, people, the so-called government of Haiti is a fig leaf put in by empire to hide dictatorship and imperialism. That's all it is. Don't be bothered. Don't get involved with it.
Just leave it be.
We have to take care of ourselves. I have 3 Èzili Dantò principles for New World. When I realized that we didn't have the economics to control the politicians, and we didn't have the military to control our bodily safety, and we didn't have the media to tell our story. In 2014, I put together the 3 Èzili Dantò solution for a new world, and here they are. I'm not dealing with these government people, okay? Because we don't have a government. You can't have a government in a country where you have no economy. The person with the economy is going to control your politicians.
Right.
So the Syrian, Lebanese, Israelis control these politicians that you see, these black faces, because they have the money. The DEA, FBI, CIA, they control them, the ones that come from the diaspora.
Right.
Okay, because in order for them to be what they are, they have to have money for their funding. So that's just lave messier latte. It doesn't represent why we became free. So the 3 Èzili Dantò principles, because I dealt with so many deportation issues and Haitians dying on the open seas. The first one is there should be, okay, so we are in the Americas. That's why I always say this is the United States. I never say America. So Haitians are Americans because we are in the Americas. There should be one American passport. Got that?
One American passport.
Okay, that means from Canada down to Argentina, one American passport. That no one would, and then my second one is there should be one American minimum wage. One American minimum wage. Calculated for inflation, all of that, but let's say one American minimum wage was, let's say, $15 to $20 everywhere in the Americas, Mexico.
Right.
No Colombian would leave Colombia. This is what I told Trump. I'm like, listen, Trump, you do one minimum wage in the Americas. No, you don't need to build your wall.
Yeah. You really wouldn't. You make sense. You really wouldn't.
You could make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
Right. Minimum wage. Right. One minimum. If you could, work at McDonald's making $20 an hour or $15 an hour or whatever, if it was in Haiti or if it was in America, would you come to America? Hell no. So if
they come for that. So if I could have it there, there's no reason to leave.
That's right. So, and with one American passport, if you can travel the world, there is a need. People want to learn other people. Yeah. But Haitians have been, put in this island
Right.
of pain,
Right.
but they love who they are.
Right.
And they could, okay, so that, and my last one is that Haiti cannot be a nation state. That Haiti has to be a World Heritage Site. That
okay, so not a nation state,
but a World Heritage Site.
Not a nation state, but World Heritage Site. Okay.
Mm-hmm. For instance, right? I was talking about Monte Carlo or all of these places, right? You can go there, you can visit, you can lease land, but it belongs to the descendants of Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Gungiton and Gantoya. That way, they can't come and try to take all our stuff.
Right.
And we have no, but we have something to share with the world, our culture. So if you want to really see, like, to me, the tourism of the that's in the Caribbean is just human trafficking.
That's true.
It's just human trafficking.
That's true.
You know, all I remember when I went to college, you know, Boston College, and I remember the white boys used to go to Dominican Republic just to deal with the women, because for generation after generation, they are the most trafficked prostitutes in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what they make. That's what Cuba was trying to get rid of. They had made a brothel out of their country.
Yeah.
So the people live like outside in the savannah with like nothing, and then you have one conda. You have these hotels with everything inside and gates. That's the European idea of one conda, right? So it could be slavery on the outside. And then you have these exotic women come and do whatever these white boys want.
Right.
And that's what they call northern tourism. That's what we don't need.
We don't.
We want to share with you the fruits of our culture. We want to show you who we are. We want to show you a good time, but we do not want you to be pedophiles to our little girls.
Right. And boys.
And boys. Right? We don't want you to make us like props.
Right.
Just like exotic props.
Right.
Like, you know, come and dance for me in my hotel.
Right.
You can come to, let's say, Gungiton's house. And you could see, like my vision, you could see Gungiton, there's like a lot of Govies that goes back 300 years. Like the whole generation of her descendants, they have kept the remains. Just like when you see like the Japanese, you see all these like remains that they put in these statues. Well, we have that in Haiti. We have like something called Lake Azue. If we cleaned up that lake, there are species in that lake there are nowhere else in the world. There's 11 species in Lake Azue. We could do a whole aquarium to show you these species you will never see anywhere else.
Wow.
This is what we can bring to the world.
Yes.
And then, of course, the Haitian history of fighting and all of those various warriors. We can have what's that Hollywood Hall of Fame? You know, where they put the where they put the statues. Yes, well, yeah,
the wax ones. Yeah.
Right. You know,
that'd be actually really cool. Yeah, that would be really cool.
We can have rides. We can show you the story. We can all of that.
Yeah,
we have that. Why can't
even just the experience of the country?
Listen, okay. There's another thing, right? The greatest lie is that Haiti has 2% forest cover. That's a lie.
Right.
Go read it. I've written about it. Right.
I just saw a video today and just saw it.
Okay, we have.
Forest,
yeah, exactly. We have like pine forest that has trees that are like thousands of years old. Of course, they, you know, all of the. This is the other thing, right? We can show people how important we are, right? We can show the Louisiana Purchase, right? We can have a big museum and show people how the United States became twice as big, and why, right? We can show. I'm telling you, we are a World Heritage Site.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Philip Girard. Okay, when Toussaint Louverture was fighting, he gave a white, I think he was English, don't quote me on that, but his name is Philip Girard. He gave this guy money, gold, to go bring him, because we didn't have arms.
Mm-hmm.
Arms we had, what they brought to us. So he gave like gold to this sea captain. Right? Imagine like creating that story like a Disneyland in Haiti, right? Throwing that story, okay? That way our children will learn our story, and then the world will learn our story, right? Philip Girard, when Napoleon kidnapped Toussaint out of Haiti, and he ended up dying in the Jura Mountains in France, right? Okay, and then Dessalines and Capois Lamont and Henri Christophe would rise up and finish the revolution, right? I mean, we could do a whole Disneyland thing just there,
that
right?
would be so cool.
Philip Girard, right? This sea captain took all this money, all this gold of Toussaint, right? So imagine we recreate the whole thing. He goes to, I believe it's Philadelphia, but he goes to America. He takes that money and he creates a school for boys called Girard College, something like that, Girard University. It still exists today.
Wow.
And he forbid Black people from entering. He used our money, and he forbid. And it was Martin Luther King and a whole bunch of other people that had to, break that color line so that Black people could be able to go to Girard College. But there's something different with Girard, okay? America, when it went to fight the Spanish-American War, America was bankrupt. They didn't have the money to go fight the Spanish-American War and take what we know is Florida and Texas and California. Guess who financed America for that?
Haiti?
Philip Girard. He was the
Philip Girard. I'm sorry. Philip Girard. I mean, sorry. I was about to say not Haiti, but Philip Girard. Really, he financed that.
He was the richest
Texas, and
the richest man in America. He was like Bill Gates with the money he took from Louverture. He financed the American War, and that's why America has Texas, California, and Florida against the Spanish. We can show people these stories. Of course, white academics, they're like, oh no, he didn't take this, whatever. Yes, he did. These are our stories. We can show people who we are, and we don't want anything from the world. We just don't want you to tell us that we're poor.
Right. I'm so tired of hearing that, the poorest country in the Western.
Because we have resources, and we don't mind sharing our resources because that's who we are. If America needs the iridium of IT to go out of space, because that's what they're using it for, because it's heat resistance, because it's an asteroid. Think people of the Black Panther. Remember when that story started? It's like millions of years ago, there was an asteroid. Well, that was IT.
That was Haiti. That's Wakanda's Haiti.
So no, we're not Wakanda. Okay?
Well, the story, the movie, what they were talking about.
We didn't live by ourselves and let everybody.
No. I'm talking about that stuff that they're looking from
the whatever, unobtainium or whatever. That's iridium for us, right? Yes. So if America wants that, and I keep saying to them, stop this crap. The world is abundant. We don't mind. We just don't want you to devastate our ecology.
Right.
Not send all these UN trucks, there's a mountain there today and there's no mountain there tomorrow, and we're going to end up in the sea.
Right.
Okay. We just want some balance. If you need iridium to go do they think they're going to colonize out of space now.
Right.
They want that iridium because it's hard.
That's affirmative.
Okay, because they're a virus. They don't know how to live in harmony with people.
Okay? Yeah, live and let live. You know what I mean? Just live and let live.
Our ancestors are out there. I know.
Yeah.
They're just laughing at them. Just like I'm laughing at them. Really? death is not the end.
It's not.
And that's the first thing I saw. When I saw that they said that he was dead, I was like, oh my God, Antoinette is doing her job out there. That's what I thought.
You said
Yeah,
that too.
hurting
You
that woman.
did say that. Yeah, you did
That's
say
what I
that.
thought. So when
Yeah.
they fall, that's what I'm gonna say. Okay, you
Yeah.
create this. You created
Yep.
this. Okay,
Yep.
and there's a way. There's a Vodun way for y'all to what do you call it? Get redemption,
Right.
because we have it in our culture, redemption, and it's not this Abrahamic stuff. Because in
Right.
Haiti, the Black collaborators became the ones who were the secret societies protecting the inner sanctum of Vodun.
Right.
They were
Right. You're
those
right. Right.
Bakiotes was a group of family that had actually sold. So it's become the Black collaborators, right? A generic term, but there was actually a claim back in
Right.
that was selling Africans. And then what Black opportunists don't realize is that this Neanderthal, when he's finished with you, he'll make you a
He
slave.
kills you. He'll get you.
So they made them a slave, and they came in Haiti, and they were faced with the people they sold.
Yeah.
Did we kill them? We gave them, like, I think it was like 8 generation. They had to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Because that's what our justice system was. So when I was telling you, when I was looking at our justice system, like we didn't have like the sort of punishment the European had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we found a way. If we could not rehabilitate the person, then he was cast out,
Mm-hmm.
or they made him into a zombie.
Mm.
That was our justice system. But
Yeah.
now they're using it for all kinds of things it wasn't meant to be used for.
Right. Right.
Did I miss anything? You got enough?
No, first of all, the only thing I miss is, but we'll end it with the commercial that we do. We actually do your commercial with every show that we do, and I
Thank
have
you.
you, and I don't do, and I can't leave you without doing that commercial.
That's
So I'll close
okay.
it when I remove you. But we
I'm
do
good.
your commercial for every show.
Okay.
Secondly, the only thing I would want to say is, there was several years ago when I saw you and you were on my TV screen. And to be able to talk to you now, I don't think you understand how much it's like chills to even be able to call you Matan. And I'm telling you, I looked at your necklace and your hair, and I was just like, I knew you and didn't know you, and to know you now is just amazing. And I appreciate the fact that whatever happened in the future, to get my dad, to get to you, to let me to see you now, to understand what's going on. I just want to give you your flowers while you're here. I want to scream and sing your name. I want to show that we're part of and I mean my daughter, myself, my fiance, all of us are part of the hack. We're all a part of the Èzili Dantò network. We're all a part of Free Haiti. We're all a part of
Let's get that army.
Èzili. You know what I mean? And I just want to
we
say,
don't want to be what we're fighting against. We will never be what we're fighting against. Okay, it's okay.
And
death is just a transformation, and like Nettie, right, that just died, right? Every time our people die, I'm always saying they left the rest up to us, and one day, we're leaving the rest to you guys to finish up. From generation to generation.
Exactly. And I am just honored to be part of what will be your work, or what was left, being the next of you. I am the daughter of Èzili.
I thank you. I thank you for the interview, for being interested.
Thank you.
Like I said, each of us have something to do. And I
sure do.
Your work and what you're doing. And I wish everyone listening will continue to follow your work.
All honor and respect to you, and I follow your work. So if you're following me, you're following her.
Thank
I got to
you.
get the pointing right. You're following her. So it's like computer life. I got to.
People, all right, do me a favor because they have censored us. So Free
Yeah.
Haiti, this is our
Free
logo.
Haiti.
Like I said, I still have shirts. I don't have any more smalls, but I got lots of extra smalls and large and medium. So come and get some of those, support our work, be on Patreon so we can get those graphic novels and those documentaries going and all the stuff I've just been talking about. I just want to bring that into application. And that's what I'm excited about doing. I don't want to deal with the core group drama. I want you to create Haitien, create and dream. You got to let go of the rest of that stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And on that note, I'm actually just going to leave it out with our commercial that we do have with the Free Haiti movement, and they'll find every way to find Miss Èzili Dantò, our great montante. My montante. I'm keeping her. I don't. However you all going to call her, I'm keeping her. And it'll play connected on how to file her, and we'll also have how to find Èzili, her network, her website, everything in the description when
come
this
join
airs.
us on Free Haiti. You're a moderator on Free Haiti.
Yeah, I am. So
they
come join.
Our views. If you go to my YouTube channel, you see all my work. They suppress our views all the time. I'm always on Facebook prison. So, but the more people we have, the better that they can't do it. So, and I also have a newsletter. So just look up the contact number and then say, it's Èzili, ERZILIDANTO @yahoo.com. That's like the email. If you send it to me and say newsletter, we'll put you on the newsletter because we can't really depend on these platforms continuing to be here.
Right.
And sometimes there's things I need to get to ICN real quick. So the newsletter is important, and I thank you again. And we'll continue to do the work.
And we sure will. So we'll end it on that. We all love you. Thank you for watching, everyone. And we'll close it out with Queen Mother Èzili Dantò's call out and sponsorship. Thank you.